Someone just told you their favorite celebrity got engaged, or divorced, or had a baby, or said something controversial on Twitter. And you're standing there thinking, okay, and? Not in a rude way. You're just genuinely confused about why this information is supposed to matter to you. Why you're expected to have an opinion. Why anyone assumes you've been following along. If this is you, your brain might be wired completely different from most people. And psychologists are starting to understand why. First, let's get something straight. Not caring about celebrities doesn't make you cold or disconnected or some kind of social outcast. Actually, it might mean the opposite. Dr. Shira Gabriel, a psychologist at the University at Buffalo, studies parasocial relationships. That's the fancy term for one-sided emotional connections people form with public figures they've never met. And she's found something interesting. People who don't form these connections aren't emotionally stunted. They just direct their emotional energy differently. Instead of spreading it across strangers on screens, they focus it on people they actually know. Think about it. You probably have deep, real relationships with friends and family. You invest time in people who can actually reciprocate. Your brain doesn't see the point in caring about someone who doesn't know you exist. That's not coldness, that's efficiency. But here's where it gets more interesting. Your indifference to celebrity culture might reveal something deeper about how you process identity and meaning. Psychologist Tim Kasser has spent decades researching what he calls extrinsic versus intrinsic values. People driven by extrinsic values care about status, image, what others think. People driven by intrinsic values care about personal growth, relationships, authenticity. Guess which group is obsessed with celebrities, and guess which group couldn't care less. When you don't care about celebrity drama, you're essentially saying, other people's status doesn't define what matters to me. You're not using famous people as a reference point for how to live, what to buy, or who to be. You've opted out of the comparison game entirely, and that's rare. Because most people are unconsciously measuring themselves against these impossible standards set by people who have entire teams managing their image. You just don't. You're running a different operating system. Now, some people might call you boring for this. How do you not care about this? They'll say, showing you some tabloid headline. But here's what's actually happening in that moment. They need you to care because it validates their own investment. If everyone around them is equally obsessed, then it feels normal. But when you're not, it holds up a mirror. It makes them wonder why they're so invested in strangers, and that makes people uncomfortable. Dr. Jean Twenge, who studies generational differences and narcissism, points out that celebrity worship has intensified with social media. It's not just about admiring talent anymore, it's about feeling connected to a lifestyle, a brand, an image. But your brain didn't take the bait. While everyone else is building fantasy relationships with people they'll never meet, you're sitting there like, why would I do that? It's not superiority, it's just a different wiring. Let's talk about what happens when a celebrity dies and the internet melts down. Everyone's posting tributes, sharing memories, acting like they lost a personal friend, and you feel nothing. Maybe a slight, oh, that's sad if you liked their work, but not the deep grief everyone else seems to be performing. This doesn't make you heartless, it makes you realistic. But you understand the difference between appreciating someone's art and actually knowing them as a human being. You can respect what they created without pretending you had a relationship with them. Psychologists call this having strong boundaries between public personas and personal connections. You instinctively know that what you see of celebrities is a carefully crafted image. It's not real, so why would you emotionally invest in it? Meanwhile, people deep in celebrity culture are often chasing something else entirely: connection, belonging, identity. When you obsess over a celebrity, you get to feel part of a community. You have inside jokes with other fans, you have someone to defend, to support, to follow. It fills a void. But you don't have that void, or at least you fill it differently. You find identity in your own experiences, your own values, your own choices. Not in borrowed significance from someone famous. And here's the kicker. Research from the British Psychological Society found that people who are less interested in celebrity gossip tend to score higher on measures of critical thinking and personal autonomy. They're less influenced by trends, less swayed by popular opinion, more comfortable forming their own judgments independent of what everyone else thinks. Sound familiar? You're the person who doesn't watch something just because it's popular, who doesn't buy something just because a celebrity endorsed it, who doesn't form opinions based on what's trending. Your brain constantly asks, but do I actually care about this? Does this matter to my life? And most of the time, with celebrity stuff, the answer is no. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Some people think not caring about celebrities means you're pretentious, that you're trying to be different, that you think you're better than everyone else. But that's projection. You're not trying to be anything. You're just genuinely disinterested. There's a difference between actively rejecting something to seem superior and simply not connecting with it in the first place. You're the latter. You don't hate celebrities. You don't judge people who follow them. You just don't personally see the appeal. It's like someone being really into model trains and you being like, cool, not for me though. It's not a moral stance, it's a preference. But because celebrity culture is so dominant, your indifference reads as rebellion. It's not. It's just you being you. Psychologist Renze Lang, who studies individual differences in media consumption, found that people who avoid celebrity content often have what he calls high need for cognition, meaning they prefer mentally stimulating content over passive consumption of gossip and drama. Your brain wants substance. It wants ideas, creativity, depth. Celebrity gossip doesn't scratch that itch, so you ignore it the same way you'd ignore elevator music. It's just background noise. And honestly, you might be protecting yourself without even realizing it. Studies have shown that heavy consumption of celebrity content is linked to lower self-esteem, increased anxiety about appearance, and unrealistic expectations about life. By not engaging, you're avoiding a comparison trap that leaves a lot of people feeling inadequate. You're not measuring your normal life against someone's highlight reel, you're just living. Here's something else. You probably notice things other people miss. While everyone's distracted by who's dating who, you're paying attention to things that actually affect your life. Politics, economy, personal growth, real relationships. Not because you're more enlightened, just because you have bandwidth. Your mental energy isn't being drained by keeping up with people who don't know you exist, and that bandwidth matters. Attention is finite. What you focus on shapes your reality. If you're focused on your own life instead of someone else's curated image, you're probably more present, more engaged with what's actually in front of you. One last thing. The people who don't understand you, the ones who think you're weird for not caring, they're often the same people who feel lost without external validation, who need to know what's trending to feel relevant, who build their identity around things outside themselves. You don't. You're anchored in something internal. Your sense of self isn't dependent on what's popular or who's famous or what everyone else is talking about. That's not weird. That's actually incredibly rare and kind of powerful. So the next time someone's shocked that you don't know or care about some celebrity scandal, don't apologize. Don't feel broken. Don't try to explain yourself. Just recognize that your brain is doing something most people's aren't. It's filtering out noise. It's prioritizing substance over spectacle. It's choosing real connection over parasocial fantasy. You're not missing out. You're just tuned to a different frequency, and that frequency is working just fine. What about you? Do you care about celebrities, or are you completely indifferent? Drop your honest answer below. No judgment either way. If this made you feel seen, hit subscribe. More where this came from.